Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari Sodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Vishpad Paramahansa Prabhupada Astra Shishiman. His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhakti Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki, Untitled Chapter ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prem Sikha host Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopya Samakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan ki jai. Shri Vrindavan ki jai. Shri Maya Panavidam ki jai. Gangamaya ki jai. Jamunamaya ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Go Premanandi. All glory to some devotees. All glory to some devotees. All glory to some devotees. All glory to Shishi Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Actually, before we begin, today is a holy day, although it's not mentioned in the Vaishnava calendar. Today is the appearance day of Dravida Prabhu. 74? 74? 74. 73. Just turned 73. Okay. Holy day. Prito Naham Te Praja Nata Yat Te Shod Brahmanam Tapa Mamaisa Kamo Bhutanang Yad Bhuyasar Vibhutaya Pritoham Te Prajanata Yat Te Syod Brahmanam Tapaha Mamaisa Kamo Bhutanang Yadbhuyasur Vibhatoyaha Britoham Te Prajanata Yatte Sudbhram Hanam Tapaha Mamaisa Kamo Bhutanang Yadbhuyasur Vibhutayaha Pritoham Te Prajanata Yatte Sudbhram Hanam Tapaha Mamaisa Kamo Bhutanang Yadbhuyasura Vibhutayaha Pritoham Te Prajanata Yatte Sudbhram Tapaha Mamaisa Kamo Bhutanang Yadbhuyasur Vibhutayaha Pritoham Te Prajanata Yatte Sudbhram Tapaha Mamaisa Kamo Bhutanang Prita, very much pleased. Aham, I, Te, with you. Prajanata, O king of population, yat, because, te, your, asya, of this material world, udbrahmanam, causing increase, tapa, austerity, mama, my, esha, this, kama, desire, bhutana, of the living entities, yat, which, bhuyasahu, may there be, vibhutaya, advancement in all respects. So this is spoken by Lord Vishnu to Prajapati Daksha, believe it or not, in relation to book distribution or preaching. My dear Prajapati Daksha, you have performed extreme austerities for the welfare and growth of the world. My desire also is that everyone within this world be happy. I am therefore very pleased with you because you are endeavoring to fulfill my desire for the welfare of the entire world. Purport. After every dissolution of the material cosmos, all the living entities take shelter in the body of Karanakshaya Vishnu. And when creation takes place again, they come forth from his body in their various species to resume their activities. Why does the creation take place in such a way that the living entities are put into conditioned life to suffer the threefold miseries imposed upon them by the material nature? Here the Lord says to Daksha, quote, you desire to benefit all living entities, and that is also my desire, unquote. The living entities who come in contact with the material world are meant to be corrected. All the living entities within this material world have revolted against the service of the Lord, and therefore they remain within this material world as ever conditioned, nityabada, taking birth again and again. There is a chance, of course, of their being liberated, but nevertheless, the conditioned souls, not taking advantage of this opportunity, continue in a life of sense enjoyment, and thus they are punished by birth and death again and again. This is the law of nature. As the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, Daivi hesha gunamayi mama maya dvajya mavave papajante mayamitam charantite. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is very difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Elsewhere, in the Bhagavad Gita 15:7, the Lord says, Mamai vangso jiva loki, jiva bhuta sanatana, manasasthana indriyani, prakritistani karstati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. The living entity's struggle for existence within the material world is due to his rebellious nature. Unless the living entity surrenders to Krishna, he must continue this life of struggle. The Krishna consciousness movement is not a fad. It is a bona fide movement intended to promote the welfare of all conditioned souls by trying to elevate everyone to the platform of Krishna consciousness. If one does not come to this platform, he must continue in material existence perpetually, sometimes in the upper planets and sometimes in the lower planets, as confirmed in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Kabu Svarge Vithaya, Kabu Narake Dubhaya. The conditioned soul sometimes descends into nescience, and sometimes it gets some relief by being relatively freed from it. This is the life of the conditioned soul. So, continue on gradually with this. Om Jnanatamandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshum Malitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Mukam Kotavachalang Pongunlang Hayate Gurim Yakripa Tavaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Vanshikapatubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pabhanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Here in the purport, Prabhupada mentions that the living entities are meant to be corrected. I was speaking to one person yesterday, and I approached him and offered him the book, and actually he came to the table, and he said, "Actually, I'm not so interested. I'm good. I'm okay." So I said, "You know, a wise man never thinks he's good. He never thinks he's okay. He always thinks, I could be better." Yeah. So this is the reality. We could always be better. So yeah, we and everyone is meant to be corrected. Of course, except for the pure devotees. But yeah, that's what this whole Krishna conscious process is about. We're trying to be corrected. We're trying to go back to our normal condition of pure Krishna consciousness. And this is why we go out and we distribute books. We want people to be corrected as well. And Srila Prabhupada and Krishna are expert at correcting us. So yeah, therefore we distribute these books, and actually by this book distribution we're shedding light in this dark world. Krishna Surya Sama Moya Hoya Andakar Yahan Krishna Tahanai Maya Ardakara. That Krishna is compared to the sun, very bright. Yeah? And Maya is compared to darkness. Yeah? So wherever there is Krishna, there is no Maya, there's no illusion, there's no darkness. So when we're going out and we're distributing books, we're shedding light into Kali Yuga. And the book distributors are the torchbearers. They're carrying the light of Krishna consciousness to the people. And some people are appreciating. Now we have so many, hundreds of thousands of devotees around the world who are becoming enlightened by this knowledge. And this is what happens actually. If people read this knowledge, they hear this message of Godhead, of Krishna, then people get purified. They become corrected. And here also, in the purport, Prabhupada mentions that the living entities in this world, they're nitya baddha. They've been in the material world for a very, very long time. So the human form of life, this is a chance. This is a loophole on how to escape the prison of material existence. But to take it to actually take advantage of this great chance that we have, one needs knowledge. Without knowledge, not going anywhere. So from knowledge comes understanding of who we are, of who Krishna is, who God is. People don't know. People haven't a clue. Who was God? And therefore, Krishna, out of his kindness, he comes. Maya mugta jivara nahi swata Krishna gyan. Jivara kapoyakol Krishna Veda Puran. Krishna, out of his kindness, he comes and gives us the Vedic literatures. The living entity, they can't revive their Krishna consciousness on their own. Imagine if we tried to become Krishna conscious and we had never received a book. No Bhagavad Gita, no Srimad Bhagavatam, no Prabhupada. No way. It wouldn't happen. So this is Krishna's kindness. He comes and helps us. And when we go out and give this knowledge to others, Krishna is very pleased, because this is why he comes, or one of the reasons he comes. He comes and he speaks the Bhagavad Gita, And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, he gives us so much knowledge, so much information on how to go back to him. So he demands, Sarvadharmam Parityaja, he demands, surrender unto me and I'll free you from all sinful reaction, don't fear. But then Lord Chaitanya came and he taught us how to surrender. I'm going to read something that's very interesting. This is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Listen closely. This is very interesting. You guys listening to in there in the kitchen? Oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah, here we are. Oh, Damodar's there? Okay, good. You're going to like this, Damodar. The characteristics of Krishna are understood to be a storehouse of transcendental knowledge, or of transcendental love. The characteristics of Krishna are understood to be a storehouse of transcendental love, a storehouse of transcendental love. This is the characteristics of Krishna. Although that storehouse of love certainly came with Krishna when he was present, it was sealed. But when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came with his associates of the Panchatattva, they broke the seal and plundered the storehouse to taste transcendental love of Krishna. The more they tasted it, the more their thirst grew for it. Generally, if you're thirsty and you drink some water, it doesn't take long before your thirst is quenched. You're okay. But here it says, the more they tasted it, the more their thirst for it grew. They became more thirsty for it. They wanted more. Amazing, huh? So this is Lord Chaitanya. And the whole Panchatattva, they came and they broke the seal and plundered the storehouse to taste transcendental love of Krishna. Prabhupada says in the purport, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called Mahavaranya Avatar, because although he is Krishna himself, he is even more favorably disposed to the poor fallen souls than Lord Sri Krishna. When Lord Sri Krishna himself was personally present, he demanded that everyone surrender unto him and promised that he would then give one all protection. But when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to this earth with his associates, he simply distributed transcendental love of God without discrimination. Sri Rupa Goswami therefore could understand that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was none other than Sri Krishna himself, for no one but the Supreme Personality of Godhead can distribute confidential love of the Supreme Person. Sri Panchatattva themselves danced again and again, and thus made it easier to drink the nectarian love of Godhead. They danced, cried, laughed, and chanted like madmen, and in this way they distributed love of Godhead. This is the next verse. This is very important for us to remember. In distributing love of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates did not consider who was a fit candidate and who was not, nor where such distribution should or should not take place. They made no conditions. Wherever they got the opportunity, the members of the Panchatattva distributed love of Godhead. So this is the mood of distributing this message. Sometimes because we get on the mental platform, we think, that person he looks too proud, he won't take a book, or that person's ugly, he won't take a book, or some gives some excuse. I won't approach that person. He won't take. he looks too mean. He might snap at me. But no. When we're distributing books, we should not discriminate. Everybody is part of Krishna. Everybody is a spirit soul. And therefore, anybody can take. I remember I was distributing books. I might have said this before, but anyway, maybe not. I was distributing books in LA airport, and it was really slow. But there was one person coming, and he had like a really expensive suit, like $1,000 suit or something. Generally, we don't even approach these people, discriminating, right? Because they just like. So I thought, well, he's a spirit soul. There's nobody else, so I decided, all right, I'm going to try. Called him over, excuse me, sir. Can I show this to you? Showing the Bhagavad Gita, showing the pictures and everything. I was shocked that he even stopped. So I'm showing the Bhagavad Gita to him, and he said, "This is wonderful. I'm really into this." And I was so surprised, so surprised. He gave a nice donation, took a Bhagavad Gita. I gave him some other books. So we never know. We never know who's going to take and who isn't going to take. And sometimes people that you really think are going to take, don't take. So there's surprises on book distribution. So, and I had an experience yesterday while I was distributing, that while I was talking to the person, I was thinking, this soul has been through so many species of life. And now finally this soul is getting an opportunity to live again in spiritual life. So I was praying to Krishna, please Krishna, help this person. And then after I spoke to the person, and then I asked for a donation, and then I kind of just like subtly just stood back and, all right, Krishna, it's in your hands now. Do your magic. It's actually a really nice feeling, we've done our duty. Like there's 5 factors of action, right? There's the super soul, there's the soul, there's the endeavor, there's the body, and senses. So these are the 5 factors of action. So we do our duty, we present the book, we show the book to them, and then at one point we let Krishna do his magic. And it's amazing. It's actually a really nice feeling, you get, because it's a transcendental team, We're trying to, help Krishna actually in this mission. So we pray to Krishna, and we're not the doers, right? Upadrashtanamanta bharta bhokta maheshvara paramat maiti chapyuta dehi sim purushapara. Sometimes I chant this verse like japa on book distribution. It's so important. Within this body, there's another transcendental enjoyer, the Lord. He's the supreme proprietor, he's the overseer, and he's the permitter. He's known as the super soul. He's the overseer, and he's the permitter. Nothing happens without the sanction of Krishna. He's the overseer, and nothing, he sees everything. He's overseeing everything, and he's permitting everything to happen. So therefore we pray to Krishna, please, Krishna, help me. Help me to be an instrument in your hands. And it's nice to be an instrument in the hands of Krishna. Otherwise, if we're not instruments in the hands of Krishna, then who are the instruments of? Maya. Yeah, for so long we were instruments in the hands of Maya, suffering like anything. Now we're in the hands of Krishna, the divine hands of Krishna, trying to be instruments, like trying to be puppets, in the hands of Krishna. Before we were puppets in the hands of Maya, and she was just causing all kinds of havoc in our life. But now we're trying to be puppets in the hands of Krishna. So this today's verse that we were reading, I'm going to continue on with this. Prajapati Daksha is trying to benefit the conditioned souls by begetting them, to give them a life with a chance for liberation. Liberation means surrender to Krishna. If one begets children with the purpose of training them to surrender to Krishna, fatherhood is very good. Similarly, when the spiritual master trains the conditioned souls to become Krishna conscious, his position is successful. If one gives the conditioned souls a chance to become Krishna conscious, all his activities are approved by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when we go out and we're distributing books, that's what we're doing. We're giving people a chance to get closer to Krishna. So therefore Krishna is so pleased. Actually, the safest position you could be in this universe is to be out giving Krishna to others. Because this is what pleases Krishna the most. Prabhupada said also, you want to please me? Distribute books. So when the pure devotee, the Paramahamsa, the Shaktavesh avatar says that, then you know you're in a very, very safe position in giving Krishna to others. Following the examples of the previous acharyas, all the members, hear that? All the members of the Krishna consciousness movement should try to benefit the conditioned souls by inducing them to become Krishna conscious and giving them all facilities to do so. Wow. Powerful statement there by Prabhupada. I'm going to read that again. It was so enlivening. Following the examples of the previous acharyas, all the members of the Krishna consciousness movement should try to benefit the conditioned souls by inducing them to become Krishna conscious and giving them all facilities to do so. So what is that facility? Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada's books. Because by people getting Prabhupada's books, then everything else comes. It's like so many devotees. They got the book, didn't know anything about Krishna, didn't know anything about the deities, didn't know anything about devotionals, nothing. But they got the book, and then they heard. And then eventually they became attracted, and they met devotees, and then they went to the temple, and then they heard about deity worship, and kirtan, and so many times it all happened with the book. It happens with the book. So it's so important that we distribute these books. And Prabhupada goes on to say, such activities constitute real welfare work. By such activities, a preacher or anyone who endeavors to spread Krishna consciousness is recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the Lord confirms in the Bhagavad Gita. Yaidang paramang guyang mad bhakte subhashasi bhakti mae param kutva mamivaisya yasangsaya nacha tasman manushesu kaschan me prikritama bhavata na sametasmad anya priyataro bhuvi. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So, that's pretty good news. Krishna is very pleased. This is the compassion of Krishna. This is the compassion of Lord Chaitanya, that they don't like to see their parts and parcels suffering. You know, just like we hear how devotees are paradukha dukhi, right? What does it mean? Besides Dravida. When a devotee sees others suffering, it gives pain. Yeah. So Krishna's the same way. He's the father of all living entities. Right? His parts and parcels are suffering. And therefore Lord Chaitanya says, Ata eva ami agya dulun sapakare. He said, I order everyone to accept this Krishna consciousness and distribute it everywhere to everyone. He didn't just say that to the devotees. He says, I order everyone to accept this Krishna consciousness and distribute it everywhere to everyone. Yeah. Because this is the best thing for the people. Nothing is better. This is the best welfare activity for the people throughout the world. So it's so important. And when we're distributing, we should depend on Krishna. This is one of the qualities of a devotee. Chetasa, what was it? Mai santasya manasa. I can't remember that verse. It's amazing. Krishna takes away, and a verse you know very well, but Krishna takes it away. He's the source of all remembrance and forgetfulness. Chetasa sarvakarmani mai sanyasya mapara buddhi yoga upashata machita sadatam bhava. He gave it back. In all activities, one should depend on Krishna. Yeah. We should depend on Krishna in all activities. Otherwise, if we're not depending on Krishna, then what are we going to depend on? Our own mind, our intelligence. Better depend on Krishna. And Krishna, he likes to reciprocate with devotees. Yeah? There's a nice statement. Oh, maybe I didn't write it down. Radhanath Swami. See if I can remember it. He said that that Krishna, he reciprocates to the degree that we engage in selfless service to Krishna. Beautiful statement there. So when we're engaging in devotional service, depending on Krishna, we should do it in a way that is pleasing to Krishna. Therefore, before I start book distribution, this might be something for you to remember also when we're distributing books. Before you start, you pray to Krishna, please Krishna, accept this as an offering to you. This is an offering to Krishna. Just like we offer bhoga to the Lord, and we do kirtan. All this is an offering to Krishna. Everything that we do here is an offering to Krishna. You know, we're cleaning. This is an offering to Krishna. We're cooking. This is an offering to Krishna. So book distribution is an offering to Krishna. And it's a very pleasing offering to Krishna. He likes it. So we should pray, Krishna, please accept this as an offering to you, and please allow me to do it in a way that is pleasing to you. Yeah. This also, when we're speaking about Krishna, it's an offering to Krishna. It's like Sukadeva Goswami, before he spoke, he prayed to Krishna, please decorate my words with your presence for the benefit of others, for my own purification. So it's so important that we understand that whatever we're doing is an offering to Krishna. And Krishna is so pleased with this. It's described by Narada Muni, Naham tashtami vaikunte yoginam hridiyesuva tatta tashtami Narada yato gayanti madbhakta. Actually, this is Vishnu speaking to Narada. He says, I'm not in Vaikuntha. I'm not in the hearts of the yogis. But I am wherever my devotees are spreading my glories. So we should know that when we're going out and we're distributing books, Krishna is there. And he wants us to be successful. But we had to pray also. We had to pray. Actually, book distribution, it's all about prayer. It's like I was distributing books the other day, and I got a call from Mukunda Charan Prabhu. And he said, Vijay, no one's taking a book. No one's stopping it. Prabhu, you got to pray. Remember what I tell you? Remember you saying that? You got to pray. You got to pray. It's all about prayer. And it's not that you start praying when you go out on book distribution. Then here you start praying when you wake up. Krishna, please. This is not an easy thing. Please help me to be an instrument in your hands. Please help me to distribute this mercy, your mercy to the conditioned souls. And when you're at Mangalarti, pray to the deities. When you're at Guru Puja, pray to Prabhupada. When you're at Tulsi Puja, pray to Tulsi Devi. In this way, you get the mercy of Krishna. You get the mercy of the devotees. And they want to give the mercy, but we have to want it also. We have to pray for this. And the result is very wonderful. Amazing things happen. I'm going to tell you a few amazing things that have happened in book distribution. In Russia, this is back during the communist times, about 89. There was one officer in the communist army, Russian communist army, who was he was leading a platoon, army group, and he was somehow he had got interested in yoga, and he found out that two privates were practitioners of this something called Bhakti yoga. So he told his corporal to go and, I heard these two privates are interested in this yoga, tell them I want to speak to them. So when the corporal went over there and said, hey, I think he was the lieutenant colonel or something, he was a high position. So the corporal said, the lieutenant colonel wants to see you, the two of you. And they got real scared because he's a big person, wanted to see these privates. So they went in there almost shivering, like, what's going to happen? So he said, I've heard you two are practicing some type of yoga, some bhakti or some yoga, I heard. I said, oh yes, we're practitioners of bhakti yoga. We practice this meditation and this yoga practice. And he said, do you have any literature on this? And one of them happened to have a Bhagavad Gita. Somehow they had a Bhagavad Gita. So yes, actually I have a Bhagavad Gita right here. So he handed it to him and said, actually, we'd like you to have it, but we just asked for a donation. He asked for a donation. But he was impressed because although they're just private, still they're kind of bold, He said, oh, here's a donation. So he got the book. About a week later, they saw him and they said, oh, Lieutenant Colonel, did you start reading the book yet? He said, no, I no time, I'm so busy. Okay. A couple of weeks later they saw him again. Lieutenant Colonel, did you start reading it yet? So busy, I haven't even started yet. So then that night he thought, well, let me at least just read the translation. Then when they ask me again, then I can say, yeah, I read it. So he did. That night he read the translation, just the translations from the Sanskrit, of course in Russian. So that night he had a dream. Prabhupada came to him in a dream. This devotee told me, he told, Prabhupada came to him in a dream and spoke in perfect Russian. It would be good if you read the purports also. And he was shocked. Wow, this Swami, he speaks Russian. So the next morning, he started reading the purports also. And he became a devotee. And now he's a sannyasi. Of course, now he's not traveling around. Wonderful devotee. He distributed books for years. I forgot his name. But, so this is book distribution. It's amazing. I mean, here he is in a devotees in a communist, what do you call it? A communist unit there, army unit, and this person becomes a devotee. It's amazing. Now in Russia, also, I was visiting a temple, and they were reading off, just like we read off the scores here, but they would do it, the way they would do it, we used to also do it this way. They would read off the name and then the scores. So they were reading off the names and the scores. When they got to one name and the scores, all the devotees, Haribo! And I leaned over to one devotee. I said, well, he didn't have an especially big score. Why is the big Haribo? And the devotee said, he's blind. He goes out on book distribution. He's blind. And he does quite well, actually. And he'll just be standing there, and he'll hear somebody coming, and he'll say, "Excuse me, I have these books on yoga and meditation. I'm blind, so I can't show them to you, but they're really fantastic." And he gives them to him. "Here, look at it." And we just asked for a donation, and he did quite well for years and years. He passed away some years ago. And there's another devotee. Russia's an amazing country. There's another devotee, no arms. And he would go out, and he would do huge. He would have the books in his backpack, and he would tell them, "Forgive me, I can't get the book for you. I don't have no arms. But take it out of my bag and look at it. It's a very, very nice book. It changed my life. Although I have no arms, I'm very happy, because I'm practicing this thing called Bhakti Yoga. I'm sure it'll help you as well." He would do huge. There was one marathon. He won the marathon. Just so there's no material inability. There's no material, what's the word? Impediment. There's no material impediment. Now all of us, we have our arms, we have our eyes. Sometimes the mind is a difficulty. And here we have an amazing example here in SanDiego, Radhanath Prabhu. I think he only had a torso at one point, right? No legs. Yeah, he tried to have an operation on his knees, and they had to amputate his legs. Did he have arms? Did he also lose his arms at one point? But he always had his arms. Oh, I see. But he would go out every day on book distribution. Amazing. Brigapati Prabhu and one sannyasi, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, they went to visit him at his home because they knew he lived up there, and their god brother Brigapatis, he wanted to see him and get some inspiration. So they went there in the morning, and of course he was happy to see them. Radhanath Prabhu was very happy to see them, but he had his schedule. And as they're talking, he's getting all his books together. He's getting everything ready for going out. Although these he's a Swami, Bhaktisiddhanta Swami, and Brigapati, he's one of the biggest book distributors in the country. He didn't think about stopping and just taking some time and talking to these devotees. No, I got my mission. He had his mission, so he just right on time he pulled out, and Brigapati and Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, as he's driving away, they're just in awe of his determination to distribute Prabhupada's books. So this is something that we can pray for, is this determination to distribute Prabhupada's books in any circumstance practically. Yes, Dravida Prabhu has something to say. Huh. Oh yeah, of course, Balaram here, the unofficial temple president, he got a book from Radhanath Prabhu, Little Perfection of Yoga or something, right? Small book. Powerful. These small books are powerful. We're doing, actually Prabhupada said that book distribution means big books, because big books people keep, but these small ones are also very, very powerful. I remember there's this one instance of a young man. He was in New York, a student in New York City, and he got one of these little pamphlets, Transcendental Teachings of Palladi Maharaj. Maybe 20 pages or something like that. So he said, all right, let me check it out. So he took it to his apartment, and Prabhupada's preaching so powerfully that sense gratification is simply meant for the hogs, dogs, camels, and asses. Prabhupada's so powerful. And this is 1972, when the sense gratification era is just blooming, just like, free love and sense gratification and just drugs and rock and roll and just blooming right then. So he's shocked, and but he's impressed. He's impressed by hearing these powerful words of Srila Prabhupada. So he kept reading, and he was so impressed that he wanted more books. So he sent to the BBT in Los Angeles to get more books. And then he at one point there was this book that he knew had been printed, but they didn't have it at the BBT somehow. The fifth canto, I think it was. So, but he knew there was devotees in New York City. So he went to one devotee and asked, "Excuse me, do you have this book, fifth canto? I've been getting the books, but they don't have it there at the BBT now." And she said, "Well, I don't have it here, but I think we have it at the temple. We can go to the temple." He said, No. You're not going to get me to go to the temple. So he liked Prabhupada's books, but he had some doubts about the devotees. He didn't want to go to the temple. So she said, "Okay, but anyway, you can give some donation." Yeah. And this is something we should all of us book distributors, we should know. Sometimes they don't want the book. Yesterday it happened twice. They didn't want the book, so I said, "Well, can you give a donation?" He said, "Yeah, sure." They gave a donation, and then I said, "Wait, take the book anyway." He said, "All right." It happens so much. One of the guys gave $10. I just asked for a day. He gave $10. He said, "Well," I said, "Well, go ahead, take the book. It's all right." All right. So that's a good thing to remember. Just ask, no matter whoever you speak to, if they stop and listen to you and you speak to them, they don't want a book, ask for a donation. Sometimes they don't want the book, but they'll give a donation. And then after they give a donation, they take the book. 99% of the time, they take the book. After they say they don't want the book, and they give a donation. So the man said, the student, he said, "I don't have my checkbook on me. I don't have any cash on me." She said, "That's okay. We can go to your flat. We can go to your apartment." He said, "Oh, God. All right. He didn't want to be rude towards it. All right, let's go." So he goes into one of these, New York City, they got these high-rise condos. So he tells her, "You wait here, and I'll be back. I'll bring a donation." So she's waiting. 15 minutes she's waiting. She's thinking, uh-oh. I think he gave me the cold shoulder here. But then he comes. Just as she was thinking that, she came with a checkbook. And he says, "Listen, I'm only going to give you $1,000. And she said, "No, you have to give $5,000. And he's like, "Oh, God, all right. $5,000. Now, 72. How much is $5,000? How much would that be equivalent of now?" Yeah, like $20,000 now. But he gave it. And then he didn't get a book. Didn't have the book he wanted. So then she sees him again, maybe a week later. And she says, "Oh, did you know? Did anybody tell? Prabhupada's coming in a few days." And he says, "Oh my God, you're serious? Prabhupada's coming here? The author of these books, he's coming here to New York City?" She said, "Yeah, he's going to be here for about a week." And he's like, "Wow, I got to meet this person." Because now he's been reading Prabhupada's books for hours. Every day, he loves Prabhupada's books. But then he's thinking, but he's going to be at the temple. He didn't want to go to the temple. But if Prabhupada's going to the temple, I got to go to the temple. So he goes there. Prabhupada, he didn't know about Prabhupada's arrival and all that, but he knew he found out the day that he's going to give class and the time and everything. So he was right in front. He was sitting right in front of Prabhupada. He wanted to get a good spot, where he could see Prabhupada. He was so enthralled by Prabhupada. So Prabhupada's giving class. And he's sitting there just completely mesmerized by Prabhupada. And after Prabhupada gives the class and question and answers is over, he's sitting there and he's thinking, I'm a Hare Krishna. I've just joined the Hare Krishna movement. Because he just loved Prabhupada so much. That's Devamrita Swami. That's how he joined. Huh? Oh no, he didn't want me to say that. Yeah. Well, maybe I got the books. So, anyway, so this is the power of book. Just a little pamphlet, and now he's preaching all over the world. Of course, not right now, but what he's doing in New Zealand is just phenomenal. I mean, they're selling so many sets and making so many devotees, and it's just an island there with 4 million people. You know, it's like it just goes on and on and on, making so many devotees. Okay, a little late. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki. Oh,